Yes, I know the camera is off. I want to address what happened yesterday at the White House, on the White House lawn, which was an absolute shit show. And not only was it a shit show, it was a shit puppet show. For Trump to raise his voice and scream at black people and tout none of his accomplishments. I watched that whole thing. I had to hold my nose and watch. Because, obviously it's the first time he's going to show his face on the balcony so they can worship him and scream and, carrying on after his COVID hospital visit. But here's the thing. Trump doctors are really adept at giving statements that don't really mean anything. In fact, Trump's physicians and doctors, his whole medical team, can talk in such a way you'd almost assume that a lawyer wrote the responses. They never ever said that Trump was negative for COVID-19. It's just that they put all these crazy statements and says, well, he ain't showing any signs of regenerating virus. This dude went on the balcony with no mask on and spoke to a crowd of ignorant ass black people for over 30 minutes. And they sit there screamed and clapped, and come to find out, Candace Owens and other coon Brandon Tatum, they actually paid half the crowd to show up, and they all had to sign a form letter saying, "I promise to wear a Brexit T-shirt," to give the thing some credibility. Everybody who was on that lawn yesterday was either a potential YouTuber or somebody looking for some clout. Half the people there were interviewed, and they even came out and said, "Oh, I have follow me at this, follow me at Twitter, follow my YouTube channel." Everybody was there for some clout. There's a lot of money in being a Trump worshiper. I got friends that are YouTube, personalities like black conservatives, and they show me they make about $3,000 a month in donations worshiping this man. Trump worship is a big industry. It's almost a religion. But the point of the video is African Americans are hugely and disproportionately affected by COVID-19. It came out in New York. Unfortunately, it's black people. I've seen several black women in the crowd, overweight black women in the crowd, clapping and screaming for Donald Trump. And here's the thing. Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum have the awesome ability to talk out of both sides of their mouth. You see, on one hand, they'll say, "Oh, what have the Republicans done? What have the Democrats done for you in 65 years of voting?" Well, fuck. What has the Republicans done for black people to even get them to come over there? What are you offering? An HBU report just came out. I'm going to read it sometime today. One of my friends linked it, that Trump is going to pass a piece of legislation that's going to make it it's going to make all those HBCUs ineligible for funding. The same ones he actually funded. I forgot what this law is going to pass. He's going to try to pass it. It's going to make all the HBCUs ineligible again. So he's going to give it and take it right back. It's smoke and mirrors, people. Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. There was a restaurant before COVID-19 hit. There was a bar, I think, that happened, and the bar had closed down and was charging a fee for protesters to buy drinks from the bar. If you had a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, they would charge you $1 more. Okay, some kind of racist agenda they had to piss off the left, so to speak. And Candace Owens, the bar got shut down because the owner, one of the waitresses from the bar, came out and shed some light and said, "This dude is racist as fuck. He always making racist statements to us, especially me, because I'm a white chick that date black dudes. And he always making racist statements because he had a crush on the girl." And Candace Owens, some kind of way, made a fundraiser for that bar. And GoFundMe blocked the fundraiser. So the black folks need to understand that every time somebody kills, one of these white cops, a rogue officer kills somebody black, unarmed, no matter the circumstances, Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum take their platform, use that same platform to raise money for the defense fund, for the same cops killing your people. and you're on the White House lawn clapping and screaming for these two dumb motherfuckers, self-hate is a motherfucker, dog. It's a beast. It's the one tool you could use against somebody else to blindly lead them niggas off a cliff. That shit pissed me off yesterday. So I had the earphones in my head. I got YouTube Premium, so I can kind of like listen to YouTube with the screen off. So I took a break and I sit down in my yard and I unlock my phone, open the screen. It's full of black people. And mind you, I didn't know that was the theme of the of his speech, was some kind of peaceful protest for law and order. You can't have oil and water in the same pot because the two don't mix. Proof positive. Those militia groups, they was going to kidnap that woman and kill her. At least one guy out the whole group wasn't a Trump supporter. The other 13 who was arrested, all the employers who found out that their employees was arrested in a militia plot was like, damn, I had no idea that dude was like that. Another guy was like, no, man. He said, I knew the guy was acting crazy lately because he started getting MREs and he lived in a basement and he was, like plotting to take over the government. But all these guys was, they tried to find some of their social media posts and these dudes were thanking Trump, looking to kill police officers too. So black people got to really stop trying to play with fire, man, because this dude don't give a shit about black people. You can hear it in his dog whistle. When you're politically inclined, like myself and any other person with a brain that does, content, you can kind of, like, unfortunately for yourself, you start growing ears for what the dog whistle sound like. And a message becomes clear to you. This man is freaking out because he's losing black support. He's bleeding black support. It ain't about left and right, bruh. Not about blue and red. This is about black people being paid to be complicit in their own elimination. Hispanic people love Trump because Hispanic people have a cultural and historical hate for black people. Proof positive is the prison population. In a prison population, it's completely segregated. You got the blacks over here, the others, who's like, Asian Pacific people, Middle Eastern dudes, and you have the whites and the Hispanics live in the same dorm because the whites and the Hispanics have a coalition against the black people in prison. And it's the exact same way outside of prison. That's why I've seen Trump don't speak a lick of Spanish. He came and said, Dios lo bendiga. At least Barack learned some of the words. But here's the thing. Those Hispanic people can see, because that was the whole idea of Trump's little speech yesterday, was an appeal to the Hispanic and the black vote. The black folks know that Hispanic people don't like them. They've all said it. Black people are lazy. They're niggers. They're lazy. All they do is destroy things. Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? And then you got some of the other dumb black people that's out there in front of the White House screaming their ass off. Oh, we ain't like the other black folks. We better. We Republicans. But when the Hispanic people see you, you don't have an R on your forehead or a D. They don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. They don't want your ass walking through their neighborhood. You can't even raise your hand and say, oh, no, I support Trump too, because they don't care. It took me a long time to figure out. I seen an old fat Spanish lady in Florida saying, I love Trump. I love the President Trump. I love him. And I was like, how can you like this dude? Looking at those kids in those concentration camps. And for the racists who are going to get in the comment section, I'm going to say this to you. We are a nation of law. We're a nation of compassion. But for the most part, we do have better treatment for prisoners of war than we have for those kids in them camps. Some information came out that they were sterilizing some of the women who were there against their will, Nazi style. Trump's own wife was like, well, some of these kids are living better than they did back home. They have their own room. Lying our ass off. It even came out on tape. Who gives a fuck about those kids? Who gives a fuck about those kids? And Hispanic people still looking at him cross-eyed. We love you, Melania Trump. We love you so much. Even their self-hate is on display. That was embarrassing, man. This whole year, 2020, you know, all this adversity has shown everybody a mirror to their own insecurity. This man is not good for this country, bro. No matter how much you like him, the dude's a piece of shit. He been fighting, exposing his finances ever since he's been in office. Any other real, legitimate billionaire on some Warren Buffett shit would have been like, shit, look at my paperwork. Learn something. You can learn some game. How to get some of these billions. This man hiding everything. And he done had several lawsuits, money laundering, Trump University, hotels going belly up, a golf course he done lost $20 million in a whole golf course. One house right now he got in New York that's being investigated because he lied and said he's going to tear the house down and make affordable housing. That was 10 years ago. When you got top-notch lawyers, you can keep on paying for back-to-back continuances. And his son just had to testify October the 6th. And you know, people wonder why white, you know, militia groups see this man as an ally. But the black folks that's kissing his ass too fucking blind to see that. They're looking at one thing only. I like him because he says what I want to hear. But he also says what everybody else wants to hear. And you don't want to hear that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to believe that. But let Trump go ahead on and lose the election. And watch his attitude change towards y'all.